for over 50 years in every corner of the UK were a pledge of service. It was a pledge to continue to serve.
At 41, Prince William is no longer just the future king. He's a man stepping out from the shadows of duty, tradition, and expectation. For years, royal watchers whispered, experts speculated, and the public wondered. Now Prince William has finally opened up, confirming what many have long believed. His admission isn't just surprising, it's deeply personal, and it reveals a side of him that few have ever seen. What did he finally reveal? And why now? After all this time? Join us as we uncover the truth behind Prince William's long-awaited revelation. The turning point they never saw coming. When Prince William finally opened up about what people had been quietly guessing for years, it wasn't just a random comment. It gave us a peek into the weight he had been carrying all this time. He spoke about the pressure of growing up, while knowing the world was always watching, always judging. And even though he often looked calm and in control, there were times when he felt deeply frustrated, lonely, and full of doubt. But to understand why those feelings ran so deep, we need to go back to the beginning, back to where it all started in his early life. William was born on June 21, 1982, in London. His parents were Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, was still on the throne at the time. Just a week after his birth, his full name, William Arthur Philip Lewis, was officially announced, and his christening happened inside the music room at Buckingham Palace, which also happened to be the day his great-grandmother turned 82. When he was just 9 months old, William joined his parents on a royal tour of Australia and New Zealand. It was a big deal because no royal baby had ever done that before. And one photo from that trip, where William was playing with a toy bee in New Zealand, quickly went viral. That toy, called the Buzzy Bee, became a national icon after that moment. But here's the most intriguing part. That public smile everyone saw as he grew older was hiding a lot more than anyone realized. And what happened next would shape his entire future. Just 2 years after that tour, his younger brother Harry was born in 1984. The two boys spent most of their childhood between Kensington Palace in London and Highgrove House in the countryside. But even though they lived in royal homes, Diana wanted them to experience a more normal life. She would take them to fast food places like McDonald's, visit shelters and hospitals with them, and show them what life looked like outside the palace walls. At home, William was called Wills, while Harry often called him Willie. Diana had her own name for him too. She called him Wombat, and she once said William felt like her little wise old man because he was thoughtful and mature, even as a child. And as he grew older, people noticed that he became quieter and more serious, especially after he started boarding school. When William was just 9, he went with his parents to Wales for St. David's Day. That became his first official royal event. Later that same year, he and Harry went with Charles and Diana to Canada. Then, in 1998, after their parents had divorced, the boys returned there again. Their parents separated officially in 1996, but the biggest shock came in 1997. That was the year Princess Diana died in a car crash in Paris.
That Diana, Princess of Wales, has in fact been killed in that car accident in Paris.
William was only 15 years old. At the time, he and Harry were at Balmoral Castle in Scotland with their father. It was Prince Charles who told them the news early in the morning. What came after that was one of the hardest periods of William's life. He wasn't sure if he should walk behind his mother's coffin during the funeral, but his grandfather, Prince Philip, gently encouraged him. So he agreed. He walked alongside Harry, Charles, Philip, and Diana's brother, all the way from Kensington Palace to Westminster Abbey. Years later, William admitted that he stayed in shock for a very long time after losing his mother. That pain stayed with him even into adulthood, and when he turned 30, he inherited most of her estate, which had grown to around £10 million. He also received many of her personal belongings, including her wedding dress, jewelry, letters, and even the handwritten lyrics of Candle in the Wind, the song Elton John performed at her funeral. Even though William carried a royal title and had cameras following him, he still had to go to school like every other kid. He started at a nursery in London, then went on to Weatherby School, and later to Ludgrove School in Berkshire. During summers, he was privately tutored, while at Ludgrove, he joined sports like football, swimming, cross-country running, and clay pigeon shooting. Eventually, he went to Eton College, where he studied geography, biology, and art history. He also captained his swimming and football teams, and he loved playing water polo. Most royal boys usually went to Gordonstown, but Diana and her family had strong ties to Eton, so they made a different choice. The press agreed to give William some privacy while he studied, as long as they got updates once in a while. Every weekend, he would have tea with his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth, and she would use that time to talk to him about royal duties and what it meant to be king one day. William had a few accidents along the way too. Once, a classmate hit him in the head with a golf club by mistake, and he needed surgery that left a small scar. In 1999, he broke a finger and had another operation, but after he finished his time at Eton, he didn't go straight into royal life. He decided to take a gap year instead. During that year, he joined the army for some training in Belize. He also worked on farms in England, taught English in Chile, and even learned a bit of Swahili because he was interested in African culture. Then in 2001, he started university at St. Andrews in Scotland. At first, he studied art history, but he later switched to geography. He graduated in 2005 with honors. While there, he played water polo and kept a low profile by using the name Steve, so other students wouldn't know who he really was. When he turned 21, he was given his first official royal duty as Counselor of State. Soon after, he started solo tours, beginning with New Zealand in 2005 and then to Australia after the floods and earthquakes. To prepare for his future role, he also did internships at places like the Bank of England and even MI6. And in 2014, he took a course at Cambridge to help him learn how to manage the Duchy of Cornwall. But even with all those titles and responsibilities, the biggest change in William's life came from something deeply personal. That was when he met Kate Middleton. They met at university and became friends first. Over time, that friendship turned into love. After dating for years, they got married in 2011, and millions around the world watched their wedding. For William, Kate became more than just his wife. She became his strongest source of support. And while their love story inspired people everywhere, it also brought a new kind of pressure, because now the eyes of the royal family and the world were on both of them. Stay tuned as we delve more into this, because there's so much more to his journey. The constant pressure of royal expectations. Prince William has always been seen as calm, composed, and ready to lead. But behind the scenes, especially in the past year, things have been harder than anyone truly knew. While many people focused on Princess Kate's health battle, it was William who carried the weight of it all in silence. When Kate went through major abdominal surgery in January 2024,
Princess of Wales has been discharged from the London hospital
and was later diagnosed with cancer, it changed everything in William and his family. William wasn't just supporting his wife through treatment, he was also being a father, a future king, and a royal figure who couldn't afford to fall apart. And yet, through it all, he stood steady. He worked quietly with Kate to explain the situation to their children in the gentlest way possible, protecting their innocence while holding back his own pain. At the Earthshot Prize Awards in 2024, William briefly shared an update, expressing how proud he was of his wife's strength during her recovery. While the public praised Kate's bravery, what often went unnoticed was William's quiet role, his steady presence, his balancing act between being the face of a future monarchy and the backbone of his family. Throughout this crisis, he has stood by her side, not only as a spouse, but as a father trying to protect his children. In her absence, William had to restructure their daily life, adjusting to a quieter routine while ensuring Kate had the space and peace needed for healing. Her treatment, including chemotherapy, was kept mostly private, but William remained constant while attending to royal engagements, managing public expectations, and silently bearing the emotional cost of watching his partner battle cancer. In September 2024, when Kate shared that she had completed chemotherapy, It was a moment of relief, but also one that reminded William of how fragile life can be. Even in this fragile time, William didn't step away from his duties. Instead, he carried them with a renewed sense of purpose. He spoke about the difficult conversations they had with their children and how he and Kate worked to reassure them. It wasn't just about explaining cancer. It was about making sure they still felt safe. William had to strike a delicate balance between his children's need for stability and his growing royal responsibilities. As Kate remained out of the public eye, William became the visible anchor of the family. His role extended far beyond ceremonial appearances. He became the protector of his family's privacy, the spokesperson for their hopes, and the symbol of their resilience. While Kate's absence at royal functions was deeply felt, it also revealed how William had grown into a figure of quiet strength, stepping up when it mattered most. To the world, Kate might be seen as the one enduring a health battle, but behind the scenes, William faced battles of his own. Emotional fatigue, public pressure, and the constant need to show strength took their toll. And this wasn't the only tension weighing on him. The rift with Prince Harry added another layer of stress, compounding his responsibilities. The fallout that began when Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020.
Prince Harry and Meghan saying they're stepping back from royal duties.
Only grew with time. William, as the elder brother and heir to the throne, had to deal with the personal grief of a strained sibling relationship while also addressing the public expectations that came with it. And, as the cracks in their bond became more visible, William had to uphold the image of a united monarchy, even when his own family was divided. This growing weight of duty wasn't new to William. From a young age, he's been told that he would one day be king. But what no one tells you is how isolating that path can feel when real-life problems like sickness, grief, and misunderstandings collide with a public role that allows very little space for vulnerability. William was expected to be composed, articulate, and strong, even as his family faced a deeply personal crisis. Though Kate has received much admiration for her grace and courage, and rightly so, it's William's strength in silence, his calm under pressure, that held their world together. He hasn't just been a partner in Kate's recovery, he's been a pillar for their children, a stable figure in a whirlwind of change, and a leader trying to steer the monarchy into the future. In public appearances, William and Kate have long been seen as a team, and they are. But during Kate's health crisis, it was William who carried the emotional and ceremonial weight of that partnership. While Kate remained largely out of view, William continued to engage in causes they both believe in. His environmental commitment, especially through initiatives like the Earthshot Prize, has remained central to his public identity. But more than that, his devotion to mental health advocacy, something he and Kate have jointly championed, took on even deeper meaning during this time. William understands the need for open dialogue about emotional well-being because he's lived through the silent exhaustion that comes from being expected to always appear strong. He knows what it means to be scrutinized at every turn, not just for what he says, but how he carries himself, how he reacts, and how often he appears in public. The same applies to Kate, whose every appearance or absence has been endlessly dissected. Meanwhile, William has had to navigate not only her well-being, but also the world's constant questions and assumptions. The monarchy's expectations are rigid, and William knows how there's little or no room for error. But instead of pushing back, he has chosen to rise to the moment, gracefully, and with unwavering commitment. Their joint efforts in promoting mental health, community support, and environmental responsibility have never slowed down, even when life became overwhelming. Yet, as admirable as their causes are, they come at a personal cost. William has often spoken about wanting his children to grow up in a world that values empathy and purpose. But providing that kind of world for them means constantly being in the public eye, sacrificing privacy and normalcy. He and Kate try to shield their children, but William feels the burden of trying to give them a childhood free from the harsh glare of royal expectations. Despite all of this, William continues to lead by example. His public work is not just about legacy, it's about building a future his children can be proud of. and his determination to modernize the monarchy, even if subtly, has started to redefine what royal leadership can look like. Still, the struggle to balance tradition with progress remains. He must walk the fine line between honoring the legacy of the monarchy and shaping it into something more relatable and compassionate. It's a challenge that will likely define his reign. Even in the face of public scrutiny, especially around topics like sustainability and the couple's lifestyle choices, William has chosen to stay true to his convictions. But those convictions come with challenges. Every step forward in modernizing the institution invites criticism, and every attempt at openness invites intrusion. Through it all, William remains focused on the bigger picture. The public may never fully grasp the emotional weight he carries. The worry for Kate, the protection of his children, the distance from his brother, and the looming shadow of the crown. But he keeps going. And as the pressure to become the next King of England looms ever closer, William knows that his role is not just ceremonial, it's symbolic. He is the bridge between the past and the future of the monarchy. From the outside, he is the calm, collected prince who dutifully fulfills every role expected of him. But behind the scenes, he's a man navigating extraordinary circumstances, determined to serve his country while protecting the people he loves most. The path ahead may be uncertain, but Prince William walks it with quiet resolve, holding his family close and his duty even closer. But here's the most interesting part: the struggle between royal duty and personal life. Balancing royal duties with family life and the causes one cares about is no easy task, and Prince William has carried this pressure for most of his life. And as he steps further into his future role as king, the weight only grows heavier. It's not just about fulfilling ceremonial roles anymore. It's about leading a country, shaping a monarchy, and being a present husband and father. But here's the part many people don't see. Behind the polished image, behind the smiles at public events and the poised responses to the media, there's a man torn between duty and desire. William wants to make a difference in the world. He wants to be the kind of leader his mother would be proud of. But he also wants to go home at the end of the day and simply be a dad, helping with homework, playing football in the garden, or reading bedtime stories. That kind of normalcy is rare in royal life. And that's where his struggle begins, because while his love for his family is unwavering, the demands of the crown never stop. Every time he stands before a camera, he knows millions are watching. Every handshake, every speech, every choice is weighed and judged. And all the while, he's still grieving the loss that changed everything. And that's the loss of his mother, Princess Diana. William was just 15 years old when Diana tragically died in a car accident in 1997. Her death wasn't just a devastating personal loss, it was a turning point in his life. It taught him, painfully early, that being royal doesn't protect you from pain. And that reshaped his view of the world in ways that continue to influence him today. But what's often overlooked is how Diana's death affected his relationship with his father, Prince Charles. Their bond was never simple. In the years following Diana's death, William had to navigate life without his mother while growing closer to a father he didn't always understand. Charles, now king, was often busy with royal duties, and his emotionally reserved nature sometimes clashed with William's deep need for comfort and connection. At times, their relationship was strained and was marked by miscommunication, unspoken frustrations, and long stretches where grief created more distance than closeness. Even now, as adults and senior royals, their relationship carries traces of that early tension. William respects his father's dedication to duty.
I want to say a few words about my father, but don't worry, unlike Lionel, I won't go on all night long.
But he's also tried to do things differently, especially when it comes to raising his own children. He's often expressed his desire to give George, Charlotte, and Louis a childhood filled with love, support, and freedom from the relentless pressure he experienced. He doesn't want them to carry the same burdens he once did. His grief over Diana, his commitment to fatherhood, and his cautious relationship with Charles have shaped how he approaches royal life. Then there's the media, another constant source of stress. William's mistrust of the press runs deep and is rooted in the way they pursued his mother. The relentless paparazzi attention that hounded Diana, even in her final moments, has haunted him ever since. He's made it his mission to protect his wife and children from the same invasive glare. That's why he and Kate have drawn clear lines about their family's privacy. It's why they share only carefully chosen photos of their children, why they shield them from major public appearances, and why they insist on a more grounded upbringing, away from the spotlight when possible. He knows firsthand what it's like to grow up under a microscope. He knows how that kind of attention can twist reality, fuel anxiety, and chip away at your sense of self. And he refuses to let his own children face that same fate. But while William tries to strike this balance between public duty and private life, the pressure doesn't ease. It builds, quietly, persistently, and sometimes overwhelmingly. There are moments, according to royal sources, when the future king feels the weight of it all pressing down. Moments when he questions if he's doing enough, if he's leading the right way, if he can really modernize an ancient institution while protecting the people he loves most. Because the expectations are endless. He must represent the monarchy with dignity, engage in international diplomacy, support countless charitable causes, and prepare for a future no one else can truly understand. And yet, at the heart of it all, he's just a man, trying to honor his mother's legacy, build a life with his wife, and raise his children with love and care. Kate has been his anchor through it all. Her steady presence and shared commitment to family have given William the stability he always longed for as a child. Together, they've created a home life that's warm and loving, even in the midst of constant public attention. But even this partnership comes with its own challenges. They're not just husband and wife, they're the future king and queen. And that means handling every disagreement, every private struggle, with the world watching. There are times when William looks back at the simplicity he once wished for. A life without palace walls, a life without duty. But he knows that's not the path he was born into. So he carries on, not because it's easy, but because it matters. Because he believes in service. Because he believes in family. And because he knows the future of the monarchy depends on leaders who can connect the traditions of the past with the realities of the present. So he walks that tightrope every day, with royal expectations on one side and personal hopes on the other. And through it all, he remains the same boy who once stood behind his mother's coffin, grieving in silence, learning too early what sacrifice really means. But now he's a man, a father, a future king.
No, it's fantastic having a lovely little family, and I'm so thrilled. And Catherine has been doing an amazing job as a mother, and I'm very proud of her.
And while his journey has been far from easy, his quiet resilience has carried him forward step by step through duty, love, and loss. So, what are your thoughts on this? And what do you think hurts more, the weight of royal duty, or the personal sacrifices Prince William has had to make along the way? Drop it in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.